I kind of figured that people already knew about this one, but seeing as how there's been a fair bit of questions about it in my streams and my comments, and I've been seeing chat about it on Twitter as well, I guess it bears making a video about. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Titanium Legman, and welcome back to the channel.
Unicorn Overlord.
Hello everyone. If you enjoy what I do, my coverage of Unicorn Overlord, my guides, my Let's Play, my news, etc., a like on this video and a subscription to the channel would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much. So what is the topic of the day today? That topic is the Idealist's hand mirror. This is an interesting little consumable that you can find in a few different places around Fevrith based on what I've seen of Unicorn Overlord thus far. And again, like I mentioned at the top, I thought it was something that people kind of already were all clued in about at this point. It's something we've been talking about since the demo released of Unicorn Overlord. I've brought it up a couple of times in different videos, in my streams, but it seems like every time I do, people become shocked that this exists. So what does it do? The Idealist Hand Mirror is a consumable that you can use on one character, any character, to essentially re-customize them from the ground up. You know how like when you recruit a generic mercenary, you're given the option to change their name, their stat set, their different color customization schemes, their voice, etc., etc. It allows you to do that for any character, no matter what level they are. Note that I say any character. Yes, you can use this on your unique characters, including the hero Elaine himself. What this allows you to do is change two different things. You can change what stat set they have, completely recustomizing their stats to whatever it is that you would like them to be, and it allows you to change their color scheme. A unique character's name and voice are not changeable, which, makes sense. All that voice acting and the fact that characters' names are kind of important to the story and everything. But as far as their actual stats and what they look like, you can fully customize that. People have been seeing me do this during my live streams. I've been slowly color coding the main cast, the ones that we've been using the most, to my black and orange color scheme that I have here around the channel, as well as changing up their stats to better suit what I feel that they kind of want to be doing in any given squad, or at least the way that I'm using them in any given squad. The first half of this video, we're going to talk about places that you can find the Idealist's hand mirror, and then in the second half, we're going to be talking about what I kind of recommend and why I've chosen the stat sets that I have for it, any character that I've customized thus far. So, first part of the video. The first Idealist hand mirror that you are likely to get access to is from clearing the mission to rescue Scarlet in Cornea. When you do so, one of the rewards that you get from the mission will be the Idealist's hand mirror, as well as the Sanguine Lance, which is a pretty nice pickup. It's actually called the Crimson Sarissa, but it's like the Sanguine Blade. It's literally the Lance version of it. Gives you Sanguine attack, extra HP, all that type of good stuff. But for our purposes here, the Idealist's hand mirror is what we're looking at. That's the first one. You can find a second one at the Black Market Merchant in the northeast really, of Cornea. However, he will only sell items to you from his entire wares, not just the hand mirror, if you have cleared I'm not really sure. I cleared the entirety of Cornea before I tried to talk to him, then he would sell to me. It might just have to be the majority of Cornea before he will sell to you. Either way, once you have cleared out Cornea, you can then go to this merchant, and then he will sell a variety of different items to you, the hand mirror being one of them. It does cost 30,000 gold. It is a pretty penny, and there is only one of them that he sells you. But at this point, by the time you finished Cornea, you will have 2 on hand. You can then find 3 more in Drakenhold. And note there will be some story spoilers ahead here, minor ones, but still. In the mission to aid Prince Gilbert, where you're being attacked from 4 fronts, you need to hold the line by either defeating all of the enemy commanders and taking their posts, or just defeating a certain number of enemy units. There are 2 bases in particular that you need to hit up, the bottom left and the top left. If you capture these command posts, you will get an Idealist's hand mirror from each for free. Very nice pickup. Again, this is a 30,000 gold one-use consumable item, so if you can get a couple of free ones and you're interested in customizing your units and changing up their stats, this is an absolutely essential objective. You can also get one more, this time from a Black Market Merchant in Drakenhold, once you repair a bridge that requires 30 of the Drakenhold-specific lumber to repair. Go across the bridge, make sure you have the majority of the place liberated, much like with Cornea, and you'll be able to buy a variety of different things from him, including another hand mirror. There's a number that you have available to you, and I have heard that you can potentially buy an infinite number of them near the end of the game, but still, you have a lot of options available to you regardless, even by the midpoint of the game. But that said, you've gotten all of your Idealist hand mirrors. Who should you use them on? Well, let's talk about that next. Ideally, you want to use these on whatever unique characters you like the most to fully optimize their stats and change their color scheme to whatever it is that you want. A lot of what I've been seeing has been people creating sort of homages to other characters, things like an XP of Guts with one of the sellswords that you can recruit, or turning one of the princes into Ramza from Final Fantasy Tactics. And I get the distinct feeling that this might be very intentional on the part of the devs over at Vanillaware, but for my part, I've been going with a black and orange color scheme. For Elaine here, we can see I've gone for a mix of offense and defense as kind of befits his class. Elaine is an all-rounder, especially once he has promoted, where you want him to be able to deal good frontline damage, but also be able to take plenty of hits and be able to successfully guard for his allies. So a mix of offensive and guardian seemed to suit that well. He's got a good amount of physical attack, he's got a good amount of guard rate, even before you figure in shields and weapons and the like, and all around it makes him a very capable fighter. I have very rarely ever been in a situation where I've been concerned that Elaine is going to fall in combat, unless he just gets absolutely hammered by a succession of anti-cavalry attacks. Other than that, he takes hits, he regenerates his HP, and he just keeps on going. It's a very nice stat set for him. I highly recommend it. For Scarlet, I've gone a little bit more offensive as well than you might have expected for a healer, but that is due to the fact that, unlike any other healer that I pretty much have access to, Scarlet has a mix of offensive and support capabilities because of her Holy Light attack. So I decided to go for a little bit of a more offensive setup here with offensive and all-rounder. Now she has a good amount of magical attack as well as her very nice magical defense, and that's going to be nice because it'll help her healing as well. Not a terrible option by any means. She does wind up being fairly fragile, but as long as you have some decent support for her, some decent defenses for her, she turns out pretty dang all right. Moving on to Lex, I gotta say, man, the black armor with the orange hair and the orange skirt is awesome. I think of all of the characters that we've recolored here, Elaine and Lex are my favorite, but while like Elaine has a lot of ostentatious, flowy tassels and cloth and things like that, Lex is simple, to the point, and looks like a complete badass. I love it. Here, of course, we've gone with Hardy Guardian, because if there's one thing that Lex is going to do, and going to do very, very well, it's defend his allies. So he has a very solid 26 physical defense and 25% guard rate, as well as 56 HP, not bad at all. And again, much like Elaine, I'm rarely, if ever, concerned that Lex is going to fall in combat. I haven't seen it in a long, long time, and I haven't even really been using his Sanguine attack much. Like, the Sanguine Blade is on him, but he's primarily just shield bashing because I don't need him to heal, like, ever. He just does a really, really solid job. I highly recommend heavy defensive emphasis on Lex. He's not here to be a damage dealer, but he will absorb hits like nobody's business. Moving on to Joseph the Paladin, we've managed to de-age him a bit by removing the silver hair from him. He certainly looks much younger now than he did before, and does have a lot of similar vibes to Elaine in terms of his coloration due to the black armor on his horse and, again, the orange cloth and everything. I love this setup. These characters look awesome together. Here we've gone to Defensive Guardian, similar to Lex's Hardy Guardian, but whereas I like Joseph having HP, he doesn't need as much from his stat set. He's got good HP based off of his gear, and with Defensive Guardian, he's more capable of just tanking hits and blocking hits, rather than necessarily having a bunch of HP damage that he can resist. This gives him a good mix of magical defense, physical defense, guard rate, etc., especially once you consider the fact that he is able to wield a shield and have 2 accessory slots, so he's able to do quite a bit and be pretty dang resilient in the process. Moving over here to Bruno, this is our most recently customized character, and unfortunately, color scheme doesn't suit him quite as well. However, the rechanging up of his stat set has been awesome. If you didn't know, Bruno is the star of one of my squads. He's an absolute monster. By the time you're seeing this, I should have a video, not up, but about ready to go about Bruno's Bombardiers. You'll have fun with that one. I think it's going to be a very good time. But we've gone here with offensive and precise. Of course, as a Berserker, there's 2 things that Bruno is going to be doing and doing very well. He's going to be tanking a lot of damage and healing up, and then he's also going to be hitting very, very hard. That S-rank HP and that A-rank physical attack pretty much tells you all that you need to know. And you would think that I'd be leaning into Hardy as a result, but here's the thing. Bruno has 95 HP just on his own. Before you even factor in anything like any gear or anything like that that you can give him, that'll buff that even higher. He doesn't really need more than that, just due to his own natural bulkiness as a Berserker or Gladiator, whatever you happen to have him at. So I decided to go offensive precise to boost our damage output even further, and then also make it more likely that he's actually able to land his hits. As a Berserker, Bruno, not the most accurate around. And if you have him swinging on the front line of the enemy formation, you'd prefer that he hits the majority of them the majority of the time. So Precise helps out with that a little bit. Finally, coming over here to Virginia as our last customized character. She also looks awesome. Her promoted class of Valkyria with the extra gold added in really accents the black and the orange really, really well. And whereas she can be tanky, I prefer to have her spec'd out to be a bit more of a damage dealer, so we've gone for all-rounder offensive. This way she still does have some fair resilience, because she does want to be able to like take some hits, block some hits with her shields, get some counterattacks in, all that type of good stuff. But I really like the versatility that Virginia has in terms of being able to deal with different enemy types, armored, flying, etc. So I want her damage output to be pretty dang good, and all-rounder offensive has absolutely helped her with that. It's a really nice setup. I need to play with her more. We've just started to get this squad of hers online, but now that they're leveled, promoted, geared up, they've been doing a lot of work, and I expect to get a lot of use out of Virginia going forward. Now, of course, those are just some of my examples of how I would recommend that you change up these characters, and that's based largely on how I've been using them. There's a ton of different ways that you can use Virginia, Elaine, Joseph, maybe not as much Lex and Bruno, but still. And of course, there's a ton of other characters that you can choose to customize as well. So I want to know, what have you been doing with your hand mirrors? What characters have you customized? What uniques have you changed up? And if you did change any of them up, did you change their stat sets, and to what and why? Let me know all of that in the comments. It's a really interesting facet of Unicorn Overlord's design, and I think it's going to help a lot with replayability by being able to customize your different unique characters to actually be able to do different things without necessarily needing to just replace them with a generic counterpart that has the stat set that you want, or in the case of characters with unique classes like Virginia and Elaine, just being stuck with them the way they are all the time, right? This way we have a bit more play going on, and I think that's a ton of fun. And hey, maybe show off what color schemes you've got on your characters too. Drop some Imgur links. If you have a Twitter account or something, post it there, or join the Discord and post your characters in there. I like to see all the different combinations that people have, because like, while my black and orange is pretty peak, there's a lot of other really cool setups out there as well. With that said, I'm going to wrap this one up here. If you didn't know about the Idealist hand mirror before, now you do. Go check it out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and more than anything else, I hope that you all have a good night. Stay safe and healthy out there. And remember, be good to each other. Bye now.